Assalamu alaikum. So, in the second part of our Individuals Promised Paradise, we're going to be looking at the family of Yasir. I'm sure you've heard of Yasir before. MashaAllah. So, Yasir's family. Who is Yasir? Yasir is a man who emigrated from Yemen. He's actually a Yemeni, immigrated from Yemen to Makkah in search of a brother. So he had two other brothers, Al-Arith and Malik, and one of their brothers was missing. He came to Makkah and he didn't come back home. So they came looking for him. He came with his brothers, but after a while, when they didn't find the missing brother, Al-Arith and Malik went back to Yemen, but Yasir stayed back. When he stayed back, he joined the tribe of what? Bani Makhzum. He joined them and became one of them. He lived with them, he did things with them. Along the line, he married a slave. Her name was Sumaya. I'm sure you've heard Sumaya before. That's good. Her name was Sumaya. So Yasir and Sumaya became husband and wife, and they lived happily together. Allah blessed them with a son whose name was Ammar. When they became Muslims, when they heard about the call to Al-Islam, they immediately surrendered their hearts to Allah and they became Muslim. Abu Jahl was very, very angry. He was filled with fury and hate because he just didn't want people to follow the religion of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And so he, with some other Quraysh men, they took Yasir, Sumaya, and Ammar to a desert and tortured them. They tortured them so much and told them they're not going to let them go until they denounce the God of Muhammad. But no, did they? No. Yasir and Sumaya with Ammar continued to say, La ilaha illallah. They stood upon Allah is Ahad. And Abu Jahl and his people continued to punish them, leaving them at no mercy. When they punished them so hard and they became unconscious, they will leave them alone. When they regain their consciousness again, they'll continue to work to punish them. The punishment was what? Was much. Anytime the Prophet ﷺ passed by and saw them, because at that time, at the early stage of Islam, there was the Muslims were weak, and there was very little the Prophet could do. So whenever he passed by them, he would tell them, be patient. The reward for patience is what? Al-Jannah. Oh Yasir's family, be patient. Oh Yasir's family, be patient. And they were patient. When the pain and the suffering became too much, and the anger and the hate of Abu Jahl and his kinsmen became unbearable, Yasir and Sumaya gained martyrdom. How did Yasir die? Do you know Abu Jahl continued to kick him in the belly? He was filled with rage. He don't want to accept our gods as your Lord anymore. He wants to say Allah is your Lord. He continued to kick him in the belly till he died. And what did he do? When he killed him, was he remorseful? No. Sumaya was filled with fury and she spat in his face because he had just killed her husband. Abu Jahl, out of anger, took his spear and continued to stab Sumaya. He stabbed her until she died. That is how both of them became the first martyrs in Al-Islam. They died on the path of Allah, standing firmly on belief against what? Kufr. Abu Jahl looked at Ammar. It's your turn. Would you disbelieve in Muhammad and believe in our gods? Ammar was filled with fear, seeing how his parents had died. He said, I believe in your God. Your God is great. When he said that, he was released and allowed to go. He ran to the Prophet ﷺ, weeping. He wasn't weeping because his parents had just died. He wasn't weeping because of the suffering he had gone through. Do you know why he was weeping? He was weeping because he disbelieved on his tongue. It said something that he did not mean in his heart. But what did Nabi Sallallahu say? He said, because it's just on your tongue, it's under duress, there's no sin on you. As long as you're still a Muslim in your heart, as long as you still believe, there's no sin on you. And that was how Ammar was consoled. His parents were promised was paradise because they died upon the path of Allah. Let's go to our books and see more information. What lessons can we get from this story? So let's go to Model 20, that's page 57. That's where the story is, and the lesson is on page 60. Women are important in Islam because the first martyr in Islam was a woman. We should not give up our faith even in the face of trial. I believe we also said the same thing about Bilal. We shouldn't give up our faith in the face of trial. We should be firm. We should be steadfast. When we are forced to do a sinful action, no blame is on us. So sometimes things will happen to people and they are forced to do what they do not like. There's no blame on them. Till the present day, Muslims are still being forced to do things they don't like. The Muslims in China, till this present day, are being forced to take alcohol, to take things that Islam prohibits, to remove the hijab, and they have to do all those things because the government is not going to allow them leave if they decide to stay upon al-Islam. So all the things that have been done to them, Allah will not count it against them because it's being done under what? Duress. So there is no sin if an action is forced on us. But if we have a way to prevent such an action, then we shouldn't fall for it. So I want you to finish the questions in the assessment and submit on Friday with the story on Bilal. If you have any questions regarding this too, please send them to the assessment group and they'll be attended to. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.